Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Xantho. Today is going to be update number 2 on my Raised Spiders Juggernaut. I've changed a couple things around. Um, I've got a new ring. I got rid of the minion movement speed. I mean, it's okay, but I'm mainly doing uber bossing these days. And the movement speed isn't too important. I basically just used a bunch of pristine fossils on a base, looking for T1 or T2 life, and then T1 damage recoup. So I got T1 damage recoup of 15%, like T2 life 62, and of course like a fertile catalyst is at 20. And make sure you like scour it so it's a blue item, so it only takes 10 fertile catalysts instead of 20. If you have a minion damage fracture, if you don't have a minion damage fracture, it'll only take 5 fertile catalysts rather than 20 fertile catalysts if it's rare. So do a definitely catalyst it before you craft it. But I managed to also hit T4 minion attack speed. I really wish that was a higher tier because T1 I think is like 15%, 15 to 14 to 16% I think. Yeah, 14 to 16%, which would up my damage actually considerably. But I did get some damage, so that's not bad. So that's extra damage. So I got 74 life, 18% damage recoup. The recoup was really nice because it's just, you take 100 damage, you get 18 back over 4 seconds. That's nice. Nice recovery. Even though I do have untiring, which gives me an ungodly amount of life regeneration based on physical damage from hits prevented. And then, because I got my Thread of Hope over here to get Inveterate for my capture my spell suppression, and then I got this suppress spell and 8% physical damage reduction affected by termination jewel. So my max hits are good for phys, and I'm capping spell suppress. That's all I've changed in tree wise. And then otherwise I've changed this jewel out, I think, to get 8 all attributes. T1 accuracy rating, T3 flat chaos, T1 all attributes, and then 30 max life, which is nice. Then I don't know if I talked about this already, but I got a new Elegant Hubris, which only takes me 15 nodes instead of 16 nodes to get all my stuff. Basically, I wanted 240% minion damage and 80% chance to avoid being shocked for Storm Shroud. Because I get 20% avoid elements here, and 80% makes it 100%. And then modifier chance to avoid being shocked applied to all elemental elements, so I'm elemental element immune. So this takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 nodes. My previous one took 16 nodes, so basically this is the seed here, 94960. And it doesn't matter what the Conqueror is because there's no keystones in the radius, thankfully. Iron Reflexes is just out of the radius because I really need Iron Reflexes, so that's really fortunate. So 94960 is the seed. It didn't cost me that much. I think it cost me like a divine or two. It would only cost me 1 divine, but there's multiple people with 1 divine that were all AFK and I couldn't get them to come back online or to respond to my messages for like 20 minutes, so I just bought the 2 divine one. So, but yeah, I get 80% minion damage, 80% minion damage, 80% minion damage, and 80% avoid being shocked. I can go 1, 2. Yeah, no, this is the most efficient way of pathing through here. So 240 minion damage, 80% avoid being shocked in 15 nodes is pretty damn good, especially when a bunch of them are travel nodes to getting to stuff I already need, like Iron Reflexes and getting to the right side of the tree. And what getting my Inveterate here on the actual passive tree has opened up is Anointed Persistence. Now this is an anoint that I have never seen someone use in the history of ever. I've literally never seen someone use this ever. So it's negative 10 physical damage taken from hits, and negative 1 physical damage taken from hits per level. So I'm level 97, so it's 107, negative 107 physical damage taken from hits. Now the cool thing is if we go to PoB, And let us remove, where is our Eternal Damnation? Anoint, remove Persistence. So let's go to Guardian so we get higher value. So 626, 497. And let's turn that off so we actually see our stats instead of our minion stats. Physical damage taken. So basically our base physical damage... Oh, I just forgot to turn up endurance charges. 644. Okay, so base physical damage reduction is 6.67, which is 5 endurance charges times 5, which is 25. And then additional 8% from here, so that's 33, which is 0.67 of your taking, because you're reducing it by 33% and you're 0.67. But that doesn't really matter much because we do already have 90% reduction from armor. These do not stack. Physical damage reduction and armor do not stack. However, physical damage reduction applies to dots. Armor does not, which is good to get a good physical damage reduction because it applies to dots. So, if we have an incoming hit of 2,320 times 0.1 from armor, 90% damage reduction, we get 232. Actually, let's set this to a melee attack. Or a projectile. Nope, no, let's do projectile spell. So our spell suppression hits for fully 50%. Okay, so we get 2,320 times 0.1, 232, times 0.75 from Indomitable Resolve, 75% less damage taken, for 174 damage taken. And spell suppression is reducing it by 53% because Inveterate gives 3% additional spell suppression prevented, times 0.47. So we are taking 81.78 damage. Now the cool thing about Persistence is that at level 97 I'm taking 107 minus 107 physical damage taken from hits. That applies after armor and physical damage reduction. After armor, which is really freaking cool. So let's put the Persistence back in here. And you will see our eHP pool go up by 233,000 from 733, oh, it's 904 to 1,138,104. For projectile spells, at least. So now it's 44.06, and it was what, 67? Let me test that one more time. It's not corrupt. Anoint, remove Persistence. It was 81.78 to to 44. 44.06 divided by 81.78. Whoops. That is a 47% damage reduction, or 46 more like it, because it's 3.8. So 46% damage reduction. So 47% less end damage taken from physical, which is a considerable number, considering our lightning, cold, and fire damage takens are a lot less, because we have Eternal Damnation, we have Spell Suppression, we have 78% resistances, and we have 8% of armor applies to our stuff in these stacks. So it goes 0.1, and then times spell suppression, and then 0.645. So I have 25% of Juggernaut resolve, so 8% chance from unrelenting. When your maximum endurance charge, you take 8% reduced elemental damage, and if you've been hit recently, you take 6% reduced from Lunaris Pantheon, which is really good for like simulacrums and stuff. My last simulacrum video, I've actually forgot to have Soul of Lunaris on. That would have actually reduced my damage taken quite a bit. So my damage taken from lightning, cold, and fire is 0.008, which is an absurdly low number. So 0.008, that's what 0.8%. That's basically effective 99.2%. I basically have 99.2% resistance against elemental damage. That's including the 5% pen. It goes down if you go to Uber bosses. 99.1% instead of 99.2% because they have 8% pen. But regardless, that's an extremely high damage reduction. So basically, in Chaos, there's not a lot of Chaos that's like pure Chaos in the game. So having only a 0.078 is fine. So that's like what? 92.2%? Yeah, 92.2% damage reduction. Which is fine. Because there's not a lot of like huge Chaos hits in the game, just because of how Chaos is balanced. But physical, my physical was a lot higher than my elemental. But because if you look here, in the calculations, now my physical is even lower. Not lower, but close to as low as my elemental. Because if we have incoming damage of 2,345 times 0.1 from armor and physical damage reduction, and then minus 107 flat, so it's 234, right? Minus 107 is almost half of that. Basically, you were almost halving your incoming damage by using persistence. Minus 107 times 0.75 from Indomitable Resolve times 0.47 from spell suppression. And I'm not sure why we're getting 44.9 instead of 48.2. But regardless, persistence is not very good in 99% of cases. But when you have such overwhelming damage reduction already, when you have something that removes flat damage to this degree, over 100, after armor, that's considerable. That is a considerable damage reduction. So if we just have like a physical, let's do a Shaper Slam. Uber Shaper Slam. Take away Eternal Damnation. So I mean to take away Persistence. We're taking 936.75 from the Uber Shaper Slam. And then if we put Persistence on, goes down to 856. So that's like more than a 10% damage reduction, more than 10% less damage taken in the end from the damage. Which even for high hits is that's a considerable difference. That's like just taking another 10, 12, 15% less damage, which is considerable. So put a Guardian here. Go back in. I think I messed up something. Yeah, there we go. 708 for Ubers, 773 for Guardians, and then for just mapping, it's 2.5 million because it's reducing the damage of your average hit from your monsters from 1233 to 8.99, which is an absurd difference. And that especially for Simulacrum where there's so many things hitting you at once. Let us remove Persistence once again. This is getting a little bit rambly, but 67.97 damage taken. So 67.97 to 8.99. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous reduction in end damage taken. Just for this shitty throwaway anoint that most people don't even think about. Now, I would not use this on 99% of builds, but for builds that already have extreme damage reduction, this is just one more layer of damage reduction that applies to after armor and physical damage reduction that can help a lot. So I'm sticking with it. I got 2.577 million hit pool for non-boss enemies without any eHP gain on block, no life on block, no ES on block. I only have 30% block from my shield. So that is a ridiculous eHP against mapping enemies. And I just tested the map earlier, just getting hit by a bunch of attacks, and of course, because from Untiring, from Juggernaut, where is it? I was getting over like 10,000 life regen per second. So we went for 1.5% of physical damage regenerated, prevented from hits in the past 10 seconds of regenerated life per second. So you get 10 seconds. 10 entire seconds of physical damage prevented from hits regenerated per second. So if you prevent 50,000, or let's just be more moderate, if you prevent 10,000 damage from hits in the last 10 seconds, you will regenerate 10,000 life, not in 10 seconds, but per second for the next 10 seconds. Which is just absurd. Untiring is just broken strong. I do not have Unstoppable. Unstoppable would definitely help me in Simulacrums because you cannot be stunned. Max speed cannot be have below base value. But I really like Unrelenting. I really like Unrelenting because it gives me additional physical damage reduction. It doesn't do much here, but if you go to Ubers, actually, that's doing nothing for me. I'm not sure why that is. They've taken 343. Hit taken 343. Should be reduced elemental damage taken. 6% reduced, so 47.32. 47.32. Why is that not getting reduced further? Should be getting reduced further. Oh. Do I not have Lunaris on? I have Lunaris on. Reduce elemental damage taken if you've been hit recently. Have I been hit recently? Yes. Huh. It's not showing in the calcs for some reason. Oh no, it is. It is. But Unrelenting is not showing in the calcs for some reason. Oh. Why do I not have Endurance Charges on? That's probably the reason. There we go. So, there. Raises my eHP by 25,000. Gives me 5,709 max phys hit, up to 72,000. Raises my elemental max hit by about 15,000, up to 187, which is freaking nice. Other than that, I haven't changed a whole lot in the build. In fact, I don't think I've really changed anything other than that. Changed the gems around a bit. I put my Divine Ire in my boots. And I put my Desecrate in my Life Tap, Flame Dash, Molten Shell setup. Because Desecrate costs more mana. Because I didn't want to multi-mod this, because I definitely wanted 2 suffixes. I wanted the damage recoup and fire and cold res, which means I couldn't multi-mod it because then I wouldn't be able to have 2 suffixes. Technically I could have 2 suffixes if I had 2 open suffixes, but you can't multi-mod on damage recoup, so there's no point in multi-modding for 1 suffix. And the prefixes, none of the prefixes do anything for me.
I cannot do this.
Unless you want to do like minions, movement speed, but these are all suffixes, so those would not work. So this has kind of been a way too long of a video to describe basic mechanics. I'm trying to get better at being concise, but I'm really bad at it. But basically, persistence is frickin' OP, dude. Persistence, and I've noticed it too. I did another simulacrum, and I've noticed it immensely. Like, the amount of hit damage that reduces those tons of small hits by, and even big hits, because big hits are reduced so much by your armor, physical damage reduction, spell suppression, and everything else. And then 25% less from Indomitable Resolve. Everything else being reduced that much. It just makes, and then this gets applied after armor and physical damage reduction. It just makes even big hits like solidly less deadly. You can take a 5,000 damage hit, and it'll reduce the end damage you take by like 15 to 20%. And if you take like only like a 1,000 damage hit, it'll reduce the damage you take by like 50, 60, 70%. Basically what I'm trying to say is persistence, OP, freaking good ass annoyant, really good ass annoyant. It's better than you would think it would be. It just seems like a throwaway annoyant, but damn, this shit is strong, bro. There's a reason they put it on the tree as an anoint only one. It's freaking strong. So that's the update. UP will be in the description, and peace out.